We'll get started. Hello and welcome. We'll get started in just a minute. Thanks to the JRE Center for being our host for today's event. We have a number of events coming up through JRE Center over the next few months. As a matter of fact, we actually have one coming up in a week with Google. That is how to improve your holiday sales. So if you're looking to boost holiday sales, I have a bunch of tips and tricks through Google to share with you on that. I am your speaker for today, Dave Meyer. If you're familiar with any of our events through Grow with Google, you may know me as the Google guy, but I'm actually also the Busy Web guy. I'm the owner of a marketing agency in Minneapolis, and I have the delights for the past 23 years of working with a very talented team to grow business and new opportunities for businesses in manufacturing, B2B services, and all things explicitly around all of the things that you do if you're trying to grow your business. So I would love to have a chat with anyone that's on the line. If you have questions, have needs, or just want advice on how to grow your business using marketing tools. And so this talk is going to be quite a bit broader and also more all-encompassing tool-wise than normal Google Talks would be. And explicitly, I am going to give you a deep dive into lead generation strategies. Now, I've got 16 of them and 16 tools that you've probably never heard of that I know and love as great opportunities to generate results. So if you have any questions, if you would like today's deck, I would encourage you to please email me. And my email address is listed on screen. It's dave@buzzyweb.com. And BusyWeb is spelled as it is on screen, BIZZYWEB. You can also tweet or Facebook or Instagram me or whatever, LinkedIn and all of those things at Dave1Meyer. And then you'll note that there is a link to a handy document. That doc is a lead generation calculator that I've made available for my friends and folks that I speak with. This is a Google Doc that you can use to actually download and make decisions on how many leads you need in order to appropriately grow your business. So again, thank you to the JRE Center, to Catherine for partnering up with us. We've had a big amount of events coming through with the JRE Center, and I've had the joy of being there in person. I hope to get there in person in the coming year. Google still has us kind of grounded, and travel is a little bit weird still, but I really hope to be back in person with you all soon. A little bit about BusyWeb. So as I mentioned briefly, BusyWeb's been in business for 23 years now. We were formed in the past century in 1999, and we do all of the things that lead to driving traffic and then helping you convert that traffic into new business. So where most businesses focus on SEO or advertising or email marketing, for example, we take an all-inclusive approach to that and tie it up using a tool called HubSpot to actually help you drive those leads and convert them through a considered process. If you remember the old Choose Your Own Adventure books from days of yore, we kind of treat our marketing like Choose Your Own Adventure. And so we connect folks and then we give them more of what they're looking for in order to generate better business and results. A couple of the key concepts I'm going to talk through today include the buyer's journey, which is the act and the opportunity of moving folks from strangers through to delighted customers, or promoters is what I like to call them, through all of the things that you see on screen. So in the attract phase, which is where most folks focus on marketing or in marketing focus, there's blogs, keywords, advertising, landing pages, social media posts and content. All of that is designed to bring people in and turn them from strangers to visitors. When you move next, after you get people's attention, you of course want to convert them into customers. And so that's where forms and good dedicated landing pages for any given thing can come into play to show people, after they've done research on your business or on what you do for your customers, gives them the next step to take. And so those calls to action, filling out a form, following a button, or downloading a document is that next step that turns people from visitors into leads. And then, of course, you need to close that business through some way. If you have an e-commerce business, that's pretty easy to do. People simply buy. But if you have a business-to-business service business, or a business that does business with other people and doesn't necessarily have a product to sell, that's where a CRM and creating an ongoing relationship with people can really help drive better results. So this is super fun. You get your CRM put together. HubSpot is the CRM that we use. And if you're interested in a CRM, if you use Microsoft's Excel spreadsheets or Post-it notes to keep track of your contacts, or maybe just your email inbox, HubSpot CRM is free. And so I would highly encourage you to check out the HubSpot CRM. Just go to HubSpot.com and see what you can get for free inside of that tool, because it's very, very well integrated into emails and phone calls, and you can see what people are doing and then help serve them better. And then, of course, after you have gained a customer, it's your job to keep that customer happy. And so making sure that you're answering their needs through things like surveys and content that you can build out through social monitoring if someone is expressing delight in your product or service, or maybe even frustration, going back and meeting them where they are and helping solve issues, and or if finding additional services to reconnect with your customers can help you grow your business. As a programming note, if you have questions during today's event, please log that using the meeting chat. And there's lots and lots of things that I'd love to talk about. This is going to be kind of tool heavy today, so I'm assuming that you might have a few questions on the tools that I'm going to share. So don't be shy. And as a matter of fact, while we're all together, tell me your business name if you have a business that's going, and also from. I'm assuming most of us are in North Dakota, but would love to hear more from what your business you're with and who you are. So log that in the chat if you wouldn't mind, and I'll do my best to offer up examples and samples that directly apply to the folks that are here. One final note again, we are recording today's event, and I'm going to be publishing it up to YouTube after we're all done today. So you will be able to watch the replay. And again, send me an email at dave@busyweb.com if you would like today's deck. All right, so core concept 1, buyer's journey. This is the act of turning people into promoters that have never seen you before and continuing to re-engage. I believe that that's not quite enough though. And so the next level of core concepts for marketing for me is the flywheel. And the flywheel is the act or the practice of re-engaging people continuously. So if we think back to the buyer's journey from a moment ago, imagine promoters are recommending you to new strangers and that you're growing your business through continuous re-engagement and connection. If you're familiar with the concept of a flywheel, created by James Watt in the 1850s, it really was responsible for the entire industrial revolution. And I believe that the concept of the marketing and sales flywheel is also equally revolutionary in reminding businesses to always serve their customers and to always think about the next step so that you can close that loop and keep growing your business. So attract is where most marketers spend their time, but you can't forget about engaging and then, of course, delighting your customers as well. So let's break the core concept of the flywheel down into a few core sections. So part 1 of my talk today is going to be about attracting business. So as we look at how to grab the attention of your audience, I'm going to share a few tools that I really like that you can use to generate buzz, to generate new connections and links, and maybe to stand out from your competition. The lead gen platforms that I'm going to talk through first are, of course, CRM. And I mentioned this very briefly before. This is a sample of the HubSpot CRM page. And so on CRM, your customer relationship management database is your one spot where you can connect and engage with all of the people that you do business with. If you're not tracking that in some dedicated way, you're missing out on a lot of opportunities to engage better than ever with the people that matter most to you, the people that already know you. So if you have a sales team, they need a CRM. And if you have anyone that really works on a consistent basis with people more than once, having that CRM is incredibly helpful in closing that loop. Your website, of course, is your home online. Google Business Profiles are brilliant tools that you can use to engage and to show up on Google Maps and when people search for you on Google searches. Facebook pages, LinkedIn pages, Twitter, TikTok, any of those social networks are all great ways to re-engage and reconnect with people, but your website is the one place that you own. So make sure that you're taking the time on your website to share helpful and informative tips, to make sure that your website itself is secure, and to make sure that it operates and loads as quickly as possible. This is where a lot of smaller businesses in particular tend to get tripped up. They'll sign up for inexpensive web hosting, and the way $10 a month web hosting works financially is they take as many websites or as many companies as possible, and they cram them all onto as few servers as possible. Well, when you share your website with several hundred or even several thousand other websites, if one of those websites gets attacked by some nefarious person, or if one of those websites creates or receives a massive amount of traffic, every other of those hundreds or thousands of websites slows down and suffers because that server gets choked off. You can think of it as a highway. And so if there's an accident on the highway, everybody else comes grinding to a halt. Using good hosting or working with a company, for example, like HubSpot for your website, means that you will not have that problem because your website is being managed individually and you don't have that shared server problem like you would with, for example, WordPress websites or other websites like Squarespace, Weebly, Wix, any of those things. The less expensive, the more dangerous it is. And sometimes as a business, we have to play and pay attention to the bottom line on marketing and just do the cheapest thing possible. But keep your eye on how to make sure to get your website as fast and as secure as possible, because if your website doesn't have that little padlock next to it when you search in your search bar or when you type in, Google won't show that website in search results. It does not list non-secure websites anymore. And so make sure that you have that section set up and that you're ready. Of course, everything else then is tied up into marketing. So as I mentioned before, in the attract phase, your job as marketing or as a business owner that's trying to get the word out about your business is to simply share that word in as many public forums as possible. So it might be a Facebook page. It might be Google search, and it definitely should be for almost every business. It might be your social media of choice. If you have a largely younger customer base, you might want to look at some of the newer networks, Snapchat, TikTok, things like that. And there's lots of good opportunities. You do have to get creative. Another thing that I'll talk about in a minute is video. And so having YouTube as one of your slings or one of your arrows in your quiver is definitely going to be helpful. So as we look at attract tools, there's a whole bunch of different things that you can do. And this kind of wraps up what most of those are, whether it's advertising, creating great videos, dedicated blogging, or writing small social posts on your website that are keyword rich and designed to help Google play matchmaker between specific words and phrases on your website and those very same words and phrases that people are typing into Google. And then doing social media and having a strategy where all of these things work together. The more your social network talks to your blog on your website, and the more your website talks to other trusted sources, if you have partnerships or things that you're doing with the JRE Center, for example, it's all great opportunities to connect and engage and to make yourself get found. I do want to tap into a couple of those lower level tools. So for video and advertising, I love using these tools. Now I'm getting into specific tools here, and the very last slide on today's presentation is going to have the URLs and the web addresses for every single of the 16 tools that I'm talking about today. So don't scramble to take notes on each of these. Just kind of note the ones that you want to try out. And then I will give you a link to all of these at the very end. And of course, if you email dave@busyweb.com, I'd be happy to send you this entire slide deck. SEMrush or SEMrush is a tool that helps you manage your keywords and your budgets if you're advertising. It's a great way to look at the overall health of your website and to take a snapshot from a marketing and advertising perspective to see what opportunities you have, both as your business versus Google, but also your business versus all of your competition. So you can use the keyword magic tool in order to identify new opportunities that you may not have checked out before. And even at the free level, SEMrush is a great way to run reports on your business and to see what's working and what other potential individual options you have in order to drive new traffic and hopefully new business your way. Google, of course, is the granddaddy of all of these. And so there's the keyword planner inside of the advertising tool. The easiest way to find the keyword planner is to simply Google keyword planner, and it'll bring you right to the page. You're going to type in things that you know that your customers might be interested in. And then Google Keyword Planner will give you the amount of search traffic that each of those keywords has, as well as other recommended well-ranking keywords that Google knows is related to what you just typed in. It's a super helpful way to make great bets on new content for your website. It's almost like a tool to help brainstorm new topics. And then, of course, Google Search Console at g.co/search console, and again, I'm giving you all the links later, is a fantastic way to measure and analyze the health of your website. And it does all of this from an overall perspective. You simply import a little bit of code into the top of your website, into the header, and Google Search Console will take care of the rest and tell you any problems that you have in searchability on your website. Finally, I really like SpyFu as well, and that's a pay-per-click analyzer that offers recommendations on the best buys for keywords. And this is actually an example of SpyFu on screen, where you can see the different kinds of data. In this case, I have listed shirts as one of my keywords, and then it gives me all kinds of other options, and I can see the trends, how difficult it is to rank for those keywords. That's what keyword difficulty is. Cost per click, on how much each of those clicks should cost inside of your network or your location. And it helps you plan how things work and how to grow. So if you want to drive traffic, advertising is a fantastic tool to get exactly the right message to exactly the right people at exactly the right time. So it's a fantastic way to grow your business. And I would encourage everyone on call to try making small bets with something to drive traffic to your business, because it dramatically increases the speed of the data that's coming in. You can do what's called A/B testing in ads and try one headline versus another headline, or one product versus another product. And those will work together to grow your content, to grow the traffic, and to grow the overall popularity of your website online very, very quickly. All right, so next up, I want to talk about a few video tools. And the favorite of mine, of course, is YouTube. If you haven't used YouTube yet, if you haven't set up a YouTube channel for your business, all you need is a Google account. And then you go to youtube.com, sign in, and create a business page for your business. From there, you're going to load up videos that are helpful and informative and kind of show what you do. If you have a product that you sell, maybe doing an unboxing video of your product. If you have a service, maybe showing the process that goes into creating that service, or interviews with delighted customers on how your product or service has helped them to grow their businesses or to do whatever you do for those people. Vidyard is a fantastic tool that lets you embed videos into emails. So it's the difference between sending an email that says, "Hi, I'm Dave, and I do these things, and let's talk," and having a video that actually says that in moving pictures over my target length of Vidyard videos is probably 45 seconds or so, where I just say, I have these really cool products or services or whatever, I actually like putting up a personalized message. So I have this tool that I usually hold up and it lights up, and I think, is it still, yeah, it still lights up. So I have that and I put in hello and the person's name so that they know that it's a custom video for them. And if you open up a video that's customized to you and you can see in that JPEG thumbnail or the animated GIF thumbnail that it's actually directed to you, you're much more likely to open or click on that video. And then finally, sales reach. If you've ever wanted, or if you have complicated relationships with your customers where it would be helpful to have almost like a Wikipedia page or a table of contents page for each individual relationship with your customers, Sales Reach is a way to do that. This is an example of a Sales Reach page. This happens to be a page that I use for my manufacturing prospects. And it's a single page where I just keep up-to-date information for manufacturers. And you can go to this page at any time, you can bookmark it, and I just update this page and I send links to people on occasion when I'm ready. Note that it has an embedded video in it, which is super easy and super fun, but it's an all-in-one spot that's customized to that person or to that specific market, which I really like. It's just a little bit more easy to use than having a dedicated page on your website, although that's also an option. Next up, content. Content is really king for all web-related opportunities, right? So it's a fantastic way to connect and to show up when people are searching for your business. SEO, search engine optimization, is simply the art of making sure that you have enough content on your website that when people search for any particular keyword related to your business, that there's a high likelihood for you to show up. HubSpot is one of the tools that I use all the time with my customers to create a deep bench of content that's all interlinked. That's what you see on this image right here, where you can go through and you can view, if you can't read that because it's a little bit small on your screen, this is our social media pillar page. So everything that BusyWeb does for social media for our clients. Well, I have all kinds of guides and tips and links. All of those are linked together through this central page. It's kind of like an encyclopedic listing of everything that I do, but this page itself, the social media marketing page, has links and connections and descriptions of all of those topics. And what that does for you from a search engine perspective is it helps you to get very deep and show all kinds of interconnections to Google, as well as turning it into kind of a browser-friendly version of everything that you would need to know if you were to do business with your business. So it's a great tool and it's very easy to create inside of HubSpot. Grammarly is, if you've struggled with creating good text or good grammar text, or even coming up with ideas for new blog posts or articles or emails among your sales team, Grammarly is actually an AI tool that will help you clean up your grammar and do much more than just spell checking. So on screen, I have a list or an example of an email that I was sending to Jen. Jen noticed, or in the email, Grammarly noticed that I'd really appreciate your input. I don't need to say really, that's a superfluous word. And so you don't need to include that and you can tighten that up. You can also focus on specific keywords or other things inside of Grammarly. And the Grammarly tool is free. And then if you want to unlock or expand, there are, subscription service pricing that you can do for a small fee that, depending on how much content you create, might be very helpful for you in leveling up the content that you use. And then finally, the Make My Persona tool is very, very cool. If you've struggled with identifying exactly who you are trying to reach and identifying what makes that person, that ideal person, tick, the Make My Persona tool will help you answer a number of questions about who your best and favorite customers are. And then it'll help you create an overview of what that person is looking for. You can almost think of it as, once you create a fictionalized persona of your absolute best customer, you take your 5 best customers and you mush them all together. What do they have in common? Once you do that, you can create, in my case, Marketing Mary is the marketing leader for her small business, and she has a number of issues or things that she's trying to solve for her business. Chief among those is driving new traffic to her website and converting new leads for her sales team. I write every blog post as almost like a letter to Mary. You could almost say, Dear Mary, at the beginning of any of my social media or blog posts. So having a persona that's well-defined can help you grow your business as well. And that's where the Make My Persona tool comes into play. There's site enhancement tools that I'd love to share. These are Google tools that help you deep dive into how well your website is marketing. So you can think of these as good snapshots and recommendation engines. Google Optimize, which is in the back of the screen here, is a great way to help optimize e-commerce stores. And again, we're going to be taking a deeper dive into Google Optimize next week when we, as part of our sponsorship with Grow with Google and the JRE Center, we're going to be talking about how to grow your business for the holiday season. We're going to be talking about Optimize in much more depth. Google Trends then is another keyword idea, another keyword generator, where you enter in some phrase or word that directly relates to your business. So we've got a business and notary service out of Atlanta. And so the business and notary service, you might enter in legal document verification or notary services for Atlanta, for example, or health and life optimized or anchored purpose box. That would be great tools or gifts or ideas. So Milk House Gifts, same thing. So if you have specific kinds of gifts, maybe it's handcrafted, or maybe it's vegan or alternative source information, media design companies building that kind of content in and building it and making sure that you just deliver the kinds of content that people are looking for. And Google Trends will actually help you brainstorm additional free topics and things that are trending. So if you were trying to decide, for example, on the kind of tea you wanted to focus on for your new tea shop, you wanted to do boba tea or bubble tea, you could see, which are basically the same thing, by the way. You could see which one is better used for your specific region if you want to stay local or regional, and or you can identify additional other keyword topics to help you generate more ideas to better engage the people that matter most. All right, I've talked about attract now. So this is all of the things that go into marketing. Now I want to move to engage. I do want to pause for a moment and let you ask any questions if you want. And if you'd like, you can actually just unmute for a moment as well if you have a specific question about any of the attract tools, or go ahead and log those questions into the meeting chat that we have live as well. I want to make sure that I'm saving this time for you. I'm going to take one sip of my water while we do. Excellent. Perfect. So let's keep going and talk about how to really engage or connect with your audiences. Maybe you've attracted their attention. Now it's time to actually start connecting with them in conversation. Megan asks as a question, do you find it hard to gather data with analytics now? And the short answer is yes, things are different because Universal Analytics, the old way that Google Analytics worked, is slowly transferring to Google Analytics 4. And Google Analytics 4 is going to be the only way to collect free analytics from Google as of next July of 2023. It's going to be the only version of analytics. So Google Analytics works slightly differently in Google Analytics 4 than it did in the Universal Analytics. Universal Analytics was largely focused on specific items, traffic, and different things happening on your website. Analytics instead focuses on events. So in large part, it's just different technology or terminology for the same kind of interactions. But if you're used to having very specific reports, a lot of those reports are changing. And unfortunately, there's much more pushback on privacy and other things inside of the web world. And so Google Analytics 4 actually pays much more attention to those concerns. And that's why Universal Analytics is going away. So the short answer, Megan, is yes, it's a little bit harder. But once you get used to Analytics 4, GA4, there's actually a lot that you can do with it that you couldn't do with Universal Analytics, including looking at how effective specific things that you're trying are working in tandem with other things. So it helps you make more in-depth and defined decisions by putting multiple events together into campaigns. So there's much more coming on that in an upcoming event with Google. And if you'd like to reach out to me, I'd be happy to share a link if you just can't wait. But there's lots to go there. Great question. Thank you. All right. So I want to talk again a little bit more about engage. When you're thinking about engaging your customers, right? We've attracted our customers and now we need to connect with them and get them engaged in actually wanting to do business with us. So things like having lead flows. Once people click on that call to action button or on that button on your website or in your email, what happens after that? Are you connecting with them and engaging them in conversation? So are you sending them that choose your own adventure style content to let them pick, choose what matters to you or what matters to them, instead of just trying to say, yes, now buy my stuff, right? So it's much more engaging. If you think of the best world of like just hanging out with friends, or if you're at a cocktail party with people, remember when we all used to get together for parties? When you have a social gathering, there's a big difference between the person that's hanging out in the middle of the room and just talking over everyone and yelling, and it's all about me, 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 right? They're just boring you. Maybe they're really into snail collecting and they keep talking about, you know, did you know that snails can chew through bone? And they also do all kinds of other stuff, and they just won't stop talking about whatever they're interested in. Conversely, compare that to someone that asks great questions and that draws connection out of you. They're great conversationalists, and they're collecting and learning about you as much as they're telling you about them. If you have a conversation with people, they're much more excited to work with you. They're much more likely to keep working with you. And it's just a lot less off-putting. And so it's very much the difference between standing on a street corner and shouting at people, do business with me, and engaging and saying, how was your day? It's great to meet you. What are you interested in? Oh, by the way, I happen to do something with that. And if you'd like, I'd love to help you with that. Oh, I know someone that can help you with that as well. Giving people all of those options. Email marketing is great for this if done well. Where people get in trouble with email marketing is when they try to turn it into a bullhorn and just broadcast out to as many people as possible, and perhaps buy a list of as many people as possible, and can just start spamming the heck out of all of those people. That's no fun. Nobody likes that. And by the way, buying lists and emailing to people that haven't given you permission to email them is also illegal. So connecting in an engaging way, having some sort of a lead generation or attract tool that then brings them into email marketing that's designed to solve people's problems and engage them in conversation through a few different emails. It's as simple as sending someone an email saying, thank you, I'm so glad to meet you. We have a few different ways that we can help you. Click here or here or here to go to the next step. And that takes them to their own journey. Lead management through CRM helps you to know what people are doing, and you can do things like bots or even automating marketing to proactively send people tools or helpful information bits, other things that they need to know in order to grow their business. So it's super easy, super fun. And again, with a tool like HubSpot, it makes it very simple to do. I want to talk about generating leads and actually connecting. This is a great tool that I've found that it's very inexpensive, but it's mostly built for people that have a lot of conversations. This is called Lead Forensics, and Lead Forensics will actually tell you the companies of the people that are visiting your website, where they are and what company they're from. This is a snapshot of BusyWeb's website. And you can see that people from the Ford Foundation, from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the University of Wisconsin, Medina Entertainment, Beecher and Conniff, and a number of other companies have visited my website. And then I can also see what those people are interested in. So I could know that the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is very interested in web design and how to build a HubSpot website. I believe they were mostly interested in the 10 funny out of office messages, which is one of our most popular posts on our website. But there you go. So it helps you get more data, and it actually helps you connect. There's a single button that you can make to say, okay, well, I know that I have 3 people in my CRM or in my business database that match the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. I also see that 4 times someone from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation over the last couple of weeks, we're looking at mostly the switch to Google Analytics or something. So I can reach out to my person and say, hey, by the way, are you interested in talking about Google Analytics? And then it gives you a great next step to engage them better based on the data that you have. Conversational bots, these are really easy tools that you can use. This is the HubSpot version, but there's all kinds of other tools that you can use for this. You can simply enter in all of your frequently asked questions on your website. And then if you do this right, you can actually build a simple choose your own adventure or a simple matrix of options, so that in this case, there's a pop-up on our website that says, hey, what would you like to do? I'd like to learn about products, pricing, or something else. Based on what they click on, it's going to take them to a different spot. Before we get started, I need to collect some basic information. How big is your company? That just gives me a little bit more detail and information so that I can give people exactly what they're looking for much quicker. And then we have marketing automation. So with automation, your job is to, again, deliver that choose your own adventure style content and engage with people when they want to be connected with and with the messages that they're interested in. There's a big difference between spam and helpful emails. And helpful emails are built off of what you're interested in. If you're a super big fan of motorsport, or maybe a huge fan or aficionado of vegan food or clean eating, if you get an email about one of those topics, it's not spam, it's something that you're actually interested in. Your job is to use what you know about that person to give them more of what they're interested in, instead of simply, again, shoving things down people's throats that they don't want. Automated sequences can remind. So if you see on this list, I've got someone visited my page and we don't know who they are, but then they click and we create a task, and then we rotate it between 2 owners if they are known. But if they're not known, we create a task to do a little bit of research, we delay for a couple of days, and then we connect with them and set their status, and then we give it off to someone else. In this case, this is a sales-driven action or automation. I can do the same thing with any messaging. If someone downloads a white paper or attends an event, you can do a follow-up 2 weeks later and say, hey, by the way, are all of your questions answered? Or, hey, how did that holiday promotion go? Or whatever you do, right? So if you're a plumber and you do emergency service on a faucet for someone, you can check back a couple of weeks later and say, hey, how's everything going? Did you notice any drips or anything? Do we need to stop back, right? So it's a great way to re-engage and reconnect and let the system do some of that for you. Which brings me to the number 3 item on the flywheel, and that is delight. Delight tools are great ways to help keep your existing customers happy with you, with your company, and to recommend you to others. Things like smart content, and I can build a website for my customers that is customized to them. As soon as I know who they are, if I know that it's Marketing Mary, or if I know that it's CEO Charlie, I can give them different levels of conversation or information that's designed around them automatically. You go to busyweb.com, if you're a marketer versus if you're a CRO or a chief revenue officer, you're going to see different content if I know who you are. So smart content is fantastic for that. Email marketing, again, we've talked about this before, give them what they're looking for. Having inbox on conversations so that you can track and keep up with people, and attribution reporting. I can actually go all the way back and look at and see everything that influenced or touched the person that I'm talking to. If I'm in sales, I can look at everything that that person has ever looked at. So, you can see, okay, well, looks like you liked a tweet of ours like three months ago that was talking about product or project X. And then it looks like you checked out our website. Now, you might not want to tell that person that, but you can say, I think from my notes that you're interested in, and then the data that you're learning from what people are doing. So you can attribute things to those people, and you can actually give them the next step and help them to grow. And then you can also automate that connection and take next steps. Smart content, I talked about it a little bit, but after you know what people want, do your best to give people that content. This is very helpful and useful in email marketing, and that's where it's probably most popular. But you can also see a ton through websites if you're doing this correctly. So customize the website. You can almost think of it as having the equivalent of 5 different websites for your 5 different kinds of clients, but doing it all through one place. HubSpot can actually do this. So you can promote new products or services. You can re-engage with people. You can reconnect and set up different content for different ideal profiles. And it's very, very helpful in just giving people what they want. So again, I'm going to give links at the end of our talk today to folks so that you've got details on how to do all of this stuff. If you're looking for easy tools that are very inexpensive and or free, here's a couple of them to get information from your customer base. Poll Everywhere is a fantastic, super easy quiz tool where you can just set up an online quiz or a poll, and it gives people feedback on the fly so that you can see what they're interested in or what they're doing. I like doing this at big conferences when people all have access to their devices. You can say, what did you find most interesting about this? Or you can schedule it out so that your poll goes out and sends a message out on Twitter, for example, using a hashtag that you select. So you tell everybody to go onto Twitter, sign up for this hashtag, and then when they search for that hashtag, it'll take them into this automated poll. And then at 5 minutes into your presentation, you can talk about topic X and say, hey, what do you guys think about this? And then you can actually embed that poll into your live presentation. So you can say, well, it looks like everybody in the room is mostly interested in this thing based on their tweets or based on their interaction with that poll. It's very, very cool. And there are free versions of that. Typeform is a very hyper-focused form filling tool that only lets you ask one question at a time. So in this case, you're seeing, how can we increase engagement in online meetings? Or on the front side of this, in the front and right image, the different questions inside of this. Hi, this will take 2 minutes. What's your name? They give you your name. Hey, Alex, now for the hard part. What's the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? Shout out to all of my Monty Python fans and friends. And then if they answer it or they don't, it keeps them going. If they opt out of it, it gives you information on that. So Poll Everywhere in Typeform, great ways to get interactive connections with your customers. Part 4, I want to go through how to optimize your buyer's journey now and give you a couple of extra tips on how to take your marketing and your lead generation and business development to the next level. I do want to pause for just a second to also let you ask questions again. So if you do have specific questions about any of the tools that I've shared so far, please lock those in, and I'm going to set aside at least 5 minutes at the end to answer additional questions. So let's keep going because I want to make sure that I get to all of the content here. But as we look at our buyer's journey, if you remember, we're going from strangers to promoters, and we're building people and engaging them a little bit more at every step. And this is what the ideal buyer's journey looks like, right? In reality, it's a whole lot messier. So what you need to plan for is give people lots of ways to enter into conversations with you. And then based on what they're telling you, to put it into a system, AKA a CRM, that'll help you make great decisions and give them more of what they're looking for based on that interaction. So this is more of a typical connection path. You know, someone might download an ebook from you, check out a testimonial, visit your website. They might follow you on Twitter. You might advertise to them a little bit, or you might put them into an email nurture campaign. They might at that point visit a pricing page, and then they become a customer after they buy something. After that sales call, you make them into a case study, and then you have another connection with them. You maybe send them, here's some other things that you might need, and they might buy more. And then they're talking to friends, recommending you, and they're a delighted customer. So it's all over the place. And all of these might come right back to additional content, but you really need an automated system in order to do that. This is where tools like HubSpot can be very, very helpful. I like asking questions to directly interact with all of my customers at each level of the flywheel. So might be handy to take a picture of this one or a snapshot if you're going to use it. Or again, send me an email at dave@busyweb.com and I'll send you this entire deck. But how do you attract people? I provide value to my prospects by, in BusyWeb's case, we answer marketing questions and provide tips and tricks. Engage. I make it easy for people to join, and I offer easy ways to connect, simplify the onboarding process, and reassuring them along the way. And then I help people by adding value, solving problems, anticipating issues, and connecting. That's going to be very different for you, but I would encourage you to think about how you're helping people at each stage of the journey. And that should be your North Star for where you should keep working in order to deepen relationships with your customers and keep them happy. There's 5 easy ways to nurture leads. And I'm going to go through these quickly here because I'm going to deep dive into each of them in a minute. Your goals for your marketing need to be very specific and relevant and built around something that you control. Your ultimate goal as an organization is probably to make more money. If you're a nonprofit, you probably want more interaction, more intervention, more volunteers, whatever that might be. So whatever that goal is, you have to take a couple of steps backward into the process to something that you can actually control. I want more people to sign up for my newsletter in the next quarter, and I want 20% more people to sign up for my newsletter in the next quarter, right? In order to do whatever you want. You need to have the right personas. You need to have great content to feed those personas. You need to build timelines in order to connect and re-engage and meet people where they are in their buyer's journey. And then, of course, you need to keep measuring if you're going to improve. So let me dig down a little bit deeper for each of these. For goals, I just walked you through the process of setting a SMART goal. SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-based. It's the difference between I want more money, to which I can hand you a dollar bill and say goal accomplished, to I want 20% more sales on my digital on my digital landing page over the coming quarter. So all of those things need to be there. For a business that has a sales team, you might want to set a goal to set an appointment or a visit within 3 interactions or within 5 days of your first contact. Something like that would help you to dramatically improve the efficiency of your sales team and give them more to do by helping them get better connections. Personas, we talked a little bit about this, but Make My Persona as the tool is going to be great for this. You want to focus in on who your best customer is. Are they new customers or returning customers? What segments of the market are they? And think about 3 or 4 different kinds of customers. And I don't care how big of a company you are, you should be able to limit your personas to 3 or 4 at the very most in order to be effective. And so as you build those, how are you engaging and connecting with those people at every level? You want to include people, including their families sometimes, into how you're connecting. So maybe, share this with mom or share this with your friends and family, depending on what you do for a business. Content is king, and where you need to focus. This is the text on your website, in your emails, and in your social media posts that are designed to engage people. You need to have great keywords in your content, because the keywords are what Google uses to match between what people are searching for and the pages that they deliver. The more useful your website is to people that are trying to solve a problem, the more likely you are to show up. Timelines, again, remember that if someone has just met you for the very first time, you don't want to be too intrusive and tell them too much. It's the same person at the cocktail party that wouldn't shut up about snails, right? Instead, you want to start with small questions and then follow up with better questions or deeper, more interactive questions a few days or maybe even a couple of weeks later after you've had an engagement process. Thinking about following up with people and reconnecting with them or re-engaging is part of what keeps people coming back for more. And then measurement. If you're not measuring, you're not marketing. So make sure that you're using reporting to tell you what's working. You might have thought that your blogs were going to light up the world and you're going to get tons of traffic. You might instead find that your YouTube channel is driving far more connections and new leads than you ever would have thought. And so what are you going to do? We're going to put a little bit more time into YouTube videos and or maybe start thinking about how you're blogging and look at what's working inside of YouTube and apply some of that learning to your blogs. So maybe import a few videos into your blog posts to get the best of both worlds. It's best and easiest to do if you have a tool, again, like HubSpot or maybe Google Analytics, to look at and see what's getting delivered and where you're getting the most bang for your buck. And in general, always do more of what works versus trying to fix what's not working. The goal here, of course, is to measure, adapt, and improve. The more you can build different actions and look at what those actions are actually doing to help you grow your business, the more likely it is that you're going to get value out of your marketing and keep growing your business. This is a screenshot of the campaigns tool inside of HubSpot. So I can go all the way back to tweets or social media posts or even individual emails and see what's actually influencing my customers to buy. So I can look at my closed deals and see that, well, Bob Smith actually clicked on these 3 posts when he was just getting started with us. So that turned into, tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue, depending on the kind of business that you're in. So looking at that helps you to point at what's actually the best use of your time as a marketer in order to give you, or in order to give your customers great content that engages them and helps them along their buyer's journey. All right, I promised a page. This might be where you want to grab either your camera and take a picture or do a screenshot. If you're on a computer, you can do Command-Shift-4 on a Mac. You can do Alt print screen on a PC or a Chromebook, and you can grab this. Or again, just send me an email at dave@busyweb.com. And here are the 16 tools that I talked to today. I'm not going to go into depth on each of these, but whether you're using Optimize or Trends to generate new tools and make sure that you're selling better, the Make My Persona tool at makemypersona.com to build an ideal customer profile, embedding videos via Vidyard or SalesReach or YouTube, HubSpot as a marketing and sales automation tool. It's really the entire operating system for marketers and sales teams. I put Make My Persona on there twice, so it's a good thing that I listed YouTube in person. Search Console, SEMrush, SpyFu, Lead Forensics, all great tools to help you identify and generate new tips. Typeform for great forms, Poll Anywhere for interactive connections. The QR code generator I did not talk about, but it's a great tool for generating easy to use QR codes that you can link to things. So if you have a storefront, you can actually put a QR code on your window and have that link to your review page or to your menus if you're a restaurant. Same thing with Bitly. If you go to bit.ly/busycalc, it's going to take you to a longer URL, but that's something that people can understand, remember, and type in. So those are the tools that I've talked through today. I hope you enjoyed them, and I have a few moments left here for us to take additional questions. As I had mentioned before, here's how to get more details. If you would like today's deck, send me an email at dave@busyweb.com. If you'd like more details and information, go to bit.ly/busycalc for that guide on how to drive leads. This is going to give you how many leads you need for your business in order to hit any given revenue. And it's a simple Google Sheet that you can customize for your own use to help drive and figure out how much marketing you need to do to actually reach any given revenue goal. So go ahead and ask me additional questions. Again, here's more details and me, because who needs a bigger picture than me or of me than me? But here's my phone number if you want to chat, and my email, and that link again. So fire away, ask questions. Feel free to unmute if you'd like. I will be pausing the recording or stopping the recording for when we load this up online. So feel free to ask any questions that you might not even want recorded. And I'd love to help you out. And thanks everybody for hanging out. This has been a really fun conversation, and I really do appreciate your questions and your comments so far.
Hi, this is Rachel from Halo Health and Life Optimized. So this was all really great, and I'm learning. I'm not very technology savvy. So would you maybe just say to like pick one and run with it?
Sure, like one
to kind of start out.
Yeah. What I would probably do if you're just getting started, I would start, especially with your business, I would probably set up a Google business profile.
Okay.
And all you need to do is go to google.com/business to get started on that.
Okay.
And that assumes that you have in-person connections with your customers, your clients, your patients.
I do, yes.
Great. So as long as you do that, even if you're a home-based business and you meet people at coffee shops or whatever, you can get a page where people can search for you on Google Maps and they can see your video. Like you can load 30-second video. You can do images. They can launch reviews. You can do product announcements or event posts or even special deals and offers. And that's all super easy and it's completely free. So great question. That's where I would be optimize your website. And that optimizer page is going to be super helpful for that. And that's at g.co/optimize. So you can look at your existing website and it'll tell you how you're doing and where you might want to improve or look at. And it looks at it from a super high level. So that's a great way to do some other stuff. And then, of course, just looking at keywords and stuff, that entire list that I gave you, just kind of browse around and see what works for you. The Make My Persona page is very, very similar as well, or very, very helpful as well. That's super high level. It's not technical at all. It literally says, who are your best customers? What do they have in common? And then it builds a really nice Word doc that you can put on your wall and use as a reference.
Very cool. Can you, the one where you said, and it might be on my end, my apologies, the second one, the optimizer, it was kind of blurbing out a little bit.
Sorry, yeah, it's g.co/optimize. And actually, let me back. Looks like where I plan to put, oh no, it's right there, g.co/optimize, upper left.
Okay, perfect. And I did take a screenshot of that, so I have that too.
Good, perfect.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I appreciate that. I've seen your I've taken other Google things that you presented, and I just love this. And I was really getting going in my business, and then COVID hit me and my fiance in 2020 and hit us really hard. And so I'm just getting back into things, and I've got and also a great technical gal that can help me with stuff, but there's like some things I can like do like on my own. That's great too, because it's good to be kind of hands in the clay with it.
Excellent. Yeah,
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I appreciate it, and thanks for attending all the other things. And I would love to see you again at upcoming events.
Yeah, I'm excited to do the Google one for business too. So
it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be really fun.
It's a great time of the year to still. There's a leadership group that I'm in. They do personal coaching and business coaching, and so they're just saying not to count yourself out yet for the holidays. So I'm really excited for that one too. So looking forward to it.
Thank you. We
You're
have
welcome.
a couple other questions. So Megan asked, aside from class presentation for a small North Dakota farmer, are these too tech savvy for a hay farmer's target market? Any suggestions for small agricultural business owners? What you want to focus on is what your partners and the people that you're doing business with are going to search in Google to find you. So they're not too technical, but you're going to be looking at different keywords than I've been talking about. So it might be disease resistance or specific kinds or compounds or things that you're using to help the hay market or help to grow hay. And so whatever that is, whether it's ideas for optimizing your chain, where optimizing how people are connecting and finding you, that's the kind of stuff that you're going to want to focus on. And so these tools are helpful, but you're right. Some of them, you're probably not going to need to do a sales reach page for this, but you might want to have a blog post or a regular email that goes out to all of your customers, because you probably have regular customers that you're delivering to, and or partners or other people that you're engaging with or that are part of either your supply chain or that you're supplying to. Great question. Thanks, Megan. And then Catherine asked, is Answer the Public similar to SEMrush? And yes, it is. It's actually a very similar tool, slightly different ways to look at it, but it really works well. Answer the Public is a little bit more, I'd say it's just a little bit more tactical than SEMrush. SEMrush has a few different tools in its box, whereas Answer the Public is mostly just a keyword optimizer tool, whereas SEMrush has a few more things that you can do with it, like identifying pay-per-click and a bunch of other things. And then, of course, Catherine noted here, click in the meeting chat, please, for our next event. We've got on November 15th, increasing holiday sales with Google Tools. And that's available at jrecenter.com. And then go into events and click on that top event, increase your holiday sales with Google Tools. Thank you all so much. We're at the top of our time already. I can't believe it went by this fast. I really appreciate you. If you have additional topics, feedback, or would like today's presentation, just send me an email, or again, visit bit.ly/busycalc for that lead calculator. Talk to you soon. Thank you so much. And I hope this helped you generate buzz without getting stung. Talk to you soon. Thanks, everybody.